Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing good. So in this video I have a very juicy information, like it's about scholarships in South Korea, but today to be more of undergraduates, mainly undergraduates specifically. So I'm here with someone who will give us a very detailed information about everything you need to know about undergraduate scholarships in South Korea. So kindly introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I am Johnny. I'm from Bangladesh. Right now I'm just finished my first year of undergrad, and I'm here with the Fulbright scholarship. That means it covers my flight over here, my allowances, that covers the meal and the stay, including the tuition as well. So yeah, life in Korea has been very interesting.
Okay, actually that's a question for later, but it's fine. Yeah, thanks for chipping that in.
Right.
So actually, what are the types of scholarships in South Korea for undergraduates?
Okay, so actually there are a lot of scholarships in South Korea for undergrad, but getting a Fulbright scholarship is the rarest actually, because not many universities provide that. Our university, the GIST University, is a government one, and usually they have more fund, so they can give out Fulbright scholarships. But apart from very select universities, very handful, you don't get Fulbright scholarships. What you get is a partial scholarship, so it could be from 20% of your tuition to maybe maximum of 50%. Again, that only covers your tuition, does not give you any stipend for your daily or your monthly expenses. So there's two kinds of scholarships. One is full ride, the other is partial. Partial only covers some part of your tuition. The full ride, which basically is your full scholarship, that will cover everything. Means your food, your meal, and your tuition. And most of them also cover your flight to come here as well. Yeah. So that's about it, actually.
Yeah. So what are the requirements for undergrad scholarships?
Right. The partial ones, it's mostly you first have to only get accepted in the university, and depending on your grades that you have got in your high school years, also they have certain quota that they have to give scholarship to different students too, or number of students too. So depending on that, that's about it actually. The partial doesn't have a massive requirement. It's just if the university has a quota, they will try to fill that out. But for the Fulbright scholarships, that's when, well, I think it's more of a holistic. That means it does not only depend on your grades at school. It's more of you have to have a good academic background plus extracurricular. By that I mean sports, and mostly if you have volunteering activities, I believe that is very good for you. But in Korea specifically, since the universities that give you Fulbright scholarships, they are mostly tech-related or science-related universities. So if you have a good background in science, that means you have decent amount of lab work. Maybe by that I mean just you are involved in something science-related, or you're very passionate about something science-related. And if you can show it to them in your, I should say the essay. For every university you have to write an essay. It needs to be a very good essay, and you have to show that this is who I am and this is what I want to do. That is mostly part of your interview, and then they have to figure out. So the main criteria is that are you good in science, and are you passionate about science? That's it. That's the requirement. Apart from that, have good grades, be in your 90s. That means A or A+. Have good extracurricular, means sports, but most importantly volunteering. That's all we're looking for.
Okay. So how do you apply?
Okay, so there are multiple scholarships. Ones are government, that means every country has specific scholarship like that, so you have to apply through your embassy, or, for example, my university, similar to many other, you have to apply directly to the university. And it's an online application, so that means every year they might have 1 or 2 application opening period, and then during that time you just have to go to their website and fill in. That's pretty much it.
So it's not like the postgrad in which there will be like sectional. No, it's not sectional. It's every semester you can apply.
Yes, every summer. Depends. GIST only has one time, so they only open during, they only open one time a year. I believe that is in September.
Oh, okay.
So you can only apply during that time.
Okay. So another thing is, like Korea being the language barrier. So are the lectures being taught in language or English? In Korean or English?
Okay, so That's what you need to look up before you apply to the university, because even if they give you full scholarship or any kind of scholarship, you need to look for, is the lecture delivered in English or it's in Korean, because they tell you beforehand specifically. Some universities, even though they give you a scholarship, they teach in Korean. So you have to be very careful that you know what they're doing. So you have to make sure that they offer classes in English. Again, this university specifically, and again, select few that I know of, they tell you beforehand. They tell you that your classes are going to be in English. So always make sure. So by that, I mean the classes could be in Korean and in English. So always make sure. But even if, one thing they never tell you, even if they say the classes are in English, you have to select your courses before every semester. That's how you take your classes. Not all of them are in English, only very select few. And that is actually one of the most problematic things, that they don't offer a lot of courses in English, and you can only take the ones that are in English. But don't worry, all your mandatory courses are going to be in English.
Okay,
But you better hope to God, pray to God that year, you have not just you in class as international student, because if it's just you, all the Korean students will prefer the class in Korean, and professors might take it in Korean too. So yeah, that's how things goes.
Okay, so how do you cope with the language barrier, right?
Right, so there's 2 times that you have to cope with. One is obviously during your classes, other is outside classes. It means live, yeah. So coming to the class is very self-explanatory, I believe. You have to hope that your professor understands, even though most of the professor will take it in English if they say it's in English. Some professors sometimes don't. So with that, just try to talk with your professor that, hey, I'm here, so you do have to do it in English. Apart from that, your day-to-day life is where is the most challenge that you're gonna face. I would say have some basic knowledge. That should help. If you don't, just use translator apps. Don't try to speak to people in English, because most of them don't know English. And even if they do, they're not comfortable with it. So you're just gonna make them more uncomfortable. It's not very hard to cope around the language barrier if you are just trying to get your stuff done. Just use a translator app, or just try to. Yes, Papago is very good. Don't use Google.
Everyone's friend.
Yes. So always use Papago. Don't use Google. And try not to speak in English if you can, because that only makes one comfortable. Apart from that, making friends and stuff, that's where I think everyone is interested in, is going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be hard. People, from my experience, if you have good grasp of Korean, a decent grasp of Korean, it will be very easier for you to make friends, because, as I said, even if they're good in English, they are very insecure about that. They don't know if their English is good enough, so they don't want to talk with you in English.
They don't want to speak the language.
Yes. Depends on person to person. Many people find that the language is not a barrier. It's fine. They can cope with it. Some, like me, will find it very challenging.
Struggling with the language.
It's been 1 year. I'm still struggling. But as I said, if you are just trying to pass by, it's fine. Just use Papago. The first few months will be challenging, I believe. But apart from that, you'll get used to it. Don't be too worried. But yes, part of language is about culture as well. So it is going to be a shock for you if you're not used to it. So try to come with an open mind.
So you had your own share of the cultural shock?
This is not my first time in a different country, so I am fine with it, a little bit at least. But if you come in with too much of expectation, here I believe the culture is way different than anywhere else. From my experience, I've been to States, I've been to other countries as well. Again, if you are from Asia, maybe you can cope some, but if you're from Western countries, that's when you'll have the majority of the shock. It's much, much different. But what I believe, everyone will be respectful to you as long as you respect them.
Yeah.
That's all. But yes, there will be some instances where people are just not respectful in general. But those are rare. If you face them, just walk away. That's all I can say.
So how is life in Korea?
For me, the biggest, I believe, most of the people who face this is the food. That's what is different. If you are used to your food, it's not gonna be the same, and don't even think that it's gonna be the same.
I think you guys still have, like, most of your country recipes are still in Korea.
Okay.
It's easily available to you guys. Unlike
it depends. We have certain vendors So we can.
There's no vendor for my recipe.
Okay.
So like everything we are eating now is like improvising.
So for us, we do have Bengali vendors. I'm from Bangladesh, everybody. We have Bengali vendors. So if we need spices, it comes at a premium, of course. We can get it if we want to.
At least that's nice.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. I really
That's
do
all good.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you find this helpful. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.
Bye.